Hey guys, welcome back. This is Lucid, and we're jumping back into our game of Early Age Mekone in Black Swan. It's turn 5. And last episode we had a bunch of messages from everybody and also a little bit of expansion. We have another message from Ulm, who is the utopian socialist. Thus speaks the prophet. The history of hitherto existing society is the history of pretender struggles. Freemen and slaves and patricians and plebeians, lord and serf. Oh, freeman and slave, patrician and plebeian, lord and serf. I read it wrong. Pantocrator and follower, in a word, oppressor and oppressed, stood in the constant opposition to one another, carried on an uninterrupted, now hidden, now open fight. A fight that ended a fight that each time ended either in revolutionary reconstruction of dominion at large, or in the common ruin of the contending pretenders. Our epoch, the epic of the Ascension Wars, possesses, however, this distinct feature. It has simplified pretender antagonisms. The whole world, as a whole, is more and more splitting into few great hostile camps, into few great realms facing each other. The need of constantly expanding dominion chases pretenders over the entire surface of the globe. It must nestle everywhere, to settle everywhere, establish connections everywhere, to be continued. Okay, don't really know what any of that means. At some point I'm going to stop reading some of these, because it gets to be there's a lot. And I'll put them up so you guys can all pause and read them, but at some point... it's just going to take a lot of the time. So these guys run in, and the idea was... Okay, we got a bleeding wound on this guy, which actually is shitty, because profuse bleeding is one of the ways these guys can die. Okay, it went away, though. I think it's a strength check to get rid of it. Okay, we survived, thank God. Anyway, we still paid the price. That didn't really work. I didn't really like that. I think we're going to switch up that order after this. Not bad. I think we took hardly any losses there. Yep. We had an event. We got some gems and some gold. And there we go. Okay, so now we are coming over this way. I could come down here, but this is war elephants. War elephants are just going to ruin me. I don't want to take this kind of until I have to. And then horse tribe are also going to be motherfuckers. Horse tribe are pretty damn hard. So these two I'm going to kind of avoid, which means I'm not going to expand in the direction of Lanka, which kind of sucks because I don't really like Lanka. Not the player, just the nation. I mean, I don't want to fight against them late game, so... I definitely don't want them to be big, but right now I'm kind of giving them a blessing in terms of not expanding in their direction. But that's really just due to hard indies rather than like a decision I made. Marverni, we can see he's using a fair amount of archers. I think these are mercs. Yeah, he's got Arnaud's archers. And then, how many is this? We can't see, but it's probably like 20, and then the rest are bare-chested warriors, javelineers, and pony knights. And then over this way, we are going to expand and take this. Now, at this point, I think Marverdi messages me and says, hey, do you want to discuss borders? And I was like, I guess. And he said he really only wants this, so that's going to leave me all of this shit, which is really nice. Now, he's going to use this, as we'll see, to basically not take this for a long time, to just have it locked in so we can expand in other directions. Which is one of the reasons I don't like negotiating borders a lot. Because you're basically going to allow your neighbor to have some border they probably would have had with you already, but to be bigger. And I like small neighbors. So anyway, there's an argument against border negotiation. The good thing is it can prevent you from bumping, which is pretty important depending on the matchup. So we're going to come in here. Now this is going to be a hard fight. So we're going to make sure we bring our prophet. And we're going to spam out Sermon of Courage and Word of Stone. I think I ran out of money to do defense everywhere this turn, so we'll have to do that next turn. In our capital, we're getting a Locos to do our... I think we can do another expansion party, maybe already, or we'll join forces with this one, I'm not sure. But we're basically getting a shit ton more Peltasts, and we're starting to get an E4. We already have one, but we're going to need E4s in the autumn, because they're going to prevent basically some bad unrest events. Okay, so that is it for this turn. Let's go ahead and go to turn 6. Turn 6, a message has arrived from Ulm. At this stage, the peoples will still form an incoherent mass scattered around the world. I'll let you read all of this if you want. Okay. Not really sure. It seems like people grouping up into family units. History will begin here. Something like that. I don't get that exactly, but I guess it's a reference to Ulm's previous comment. We got some battles here. Now this one I was scared about because I brought my Pretender, but it's so far appearing to kind of be okay. You can see the heavy infantry are chewing their way pretty well through the Peltasts, but we're killing them largely thanks to Smite. But we killed... These guys actually are pretty solid. Like 17 protection. These guys are legit in terms of being a frontline troop. The Peltasts, not quite as much. But we only lost 4. That was definitely acceptable losses. Battle here, we've got our guys out in front. We've got the Giants absorbing some of the heavy charge here. Or the heavy cav charge. And you can see they're actually, like, they didn't get damaged at all even though they're out in front. They're really solid, but if they get surrounded, they're kind of fucked. Okay, we lost 5 here. You can see we've basically not done it where we don't take attrition. So attrition is just part of the Scales expansion game for this nation. And if you want to go Scales, it is the price you are going to pay. So these guys, we're going to go ahead and move them over here. It looks like it's a pretty easy province. I guess I didn't even script them. Whoops. These guys are going to move over here. These guys are going to get moved now into the heavy cav. Now this I'm going to take some attrition. But Word of Stone is going to be a boss. I think I've scripted it up. Before they were just on attack and fire. Now we're on a hold and attack and hold and fire. And I think it will give me a slightly better formation. What I expect will happen is they're going to run in. They'll basically, about the time they get here, these guys will start firing javelins and these guys will start attacking. That's kind of what I expect. If I just put them on attack, these guys are going to run forward and they'll be farther away from my javelineers by the time they make contact. So I think this is going to do a pretty good way to like synchronize the times the javelins hit with the times these guys hit, which is kind of what I want. This guy, we made a commander to move over here and start building my fort, which we need to do because we can't recruit a commander here. But building a fort here actually is pretty good. Getting access to a nature mage is important because we don't have nature. So doing that early is definitely nice, as opposed to some other games where I've been in and don't have nature access and don't fix it till like mid-game. Whoops. Okay, we're gonna come in and do the same thing here against the bear tribe. We can see we bumped into Caleb down here. There's elephants. So this actually is okay. I can't remember which one. It's Caleb, I think, is one of these. I think it might be this one, but yeah, I think it is this one. So I do want this province, but Caleb probably is not much more eager to attack into elephants than I am. So anyway, we'll see who takes that and when. We're going to come over here and take this, the forest over here, and then we're going to... Yeah, I already said we're taking that. In terms of recruitment, we're going to finish this E4, and then we're going to make another Locos. And then he will probably lead out my next army, which... You can see we're getting more and more Peltasts, too, per turn. And that's just due to having our cap circle cleared. We are, you can see, resource constrained on Peltasts. So, potentially, if you want to go with less order on this build, you could, because we're not really using all those recruitment points. Anyway. That is that. What are we going to do? Let's go ahead and go to the next turn. Turn 7. Maybe we get to turn 10. These are going a lot quicker without having as much messages. A messenger has arrived from Roos. Yo, I'm a bear, that is all. Bear Father Rasputin. We have a message from Theodoros. Now, just put this out there, you know, I'm doing all of this socialism talk. Ulm is a German nation, and I think we all know about German socialism, aka National Socialism, aka Nazism. So, don't listen to this Nazi propaganda. Yeah. Okay. You can see these guys are just a unit up here, not giving a fuck. Thank you. And the Javelin exchange we did back here actually is probably pretty good, because these guys have a little better armor than my guys, but my guys have shields, and I'm pretty sure shields outweigh slightly better armor in Javelin exchanges. Yeah, you can see we only lost 2, so that's actually pretty legit. Yeah, the heavy cav lost a bit more. Did we already watch that? I think we did. Yeah, okay, but you can see Ward of Stone doing some work. And then coming down here... So this is not ideal. We had our front line out of position. That was because I blobbed them up. I didn't script them. Whoops. So having these guys in the front makes a big difference. This is what happens. I did this actually intentionally. I wanted to show y'all how bad these guys are against heavy cav. And while they can kill them, they can't kill them terribly well. That's what happens when you don't script armies full of shit. So, we conquered it. We lost a shit ton of Peltasts. And then people retreated on... We lost 6 more, basically. And then everybody else retreated. And this was only from, like... I totally could have taken this, I just fucked up my scripting. So... And by fucked up, I mean I forgot to even do it. Now we got a lucky coin, which is kind of nice. So that's actually kind of a dick punch. I could have definitely used another expansion party. So whatever I do, you can do better, because you won't make a dumb mistake like this. So anyway, he's going to go pick up the scraps. That's really unfortunate, though. I really could have used another expansion party. Like, he could have definitely taken this out. And this was, in some ways, a stronger expansion party than I've had on others, because I had a lot more of these guys on Guard Commander. Here we're just making up a ton of these as we... oh, why am I... Oh. Probably should have, like, ditched a couple of these and gone ahead and started this. No, it's 750. I wouldn't have had enough. So that is why. We don't make mistakes here. Okay, we're going to come up here and tag these slingers. Got elephants here. We're going to have to be pretty careful about dealing with those. But if I get this loop and I get this, like, I get all these things which are 3 away from my cap, I'm going to be pretty good. So we're going to try to swing up this way and, like, get all this. So these guys are coming up here. The other nice thing about using these guys is you do get a morale bonus, and that morale bonus is nice. This guy's going to hang tight. Here's a province with heavy cav and light cav, so maybe he's not wanting to bear into it, or maybe he's just prioritizing other stuff. We haven't seen any northern neighbors yet. Which is fine by me. We're going to merge armies here on top of this. This is going to be... Thing is, like, these are kind of shitty, but numbers is pretty important. So here we're going to bring in a ton of troops. These guys are going to be on attack closest. These guys are going to be on attack closest with a guy on guard commander. This guy is going to be on hold and attack. And then we're going to have our profit too. So we might take this with close to no losses, but if we did it with like 50 guys rather than 100, we'd probably take significant, like 10 or 12 losses probably. And yeah, we're getting a Durante. This is like our gold efficient recruitment. So we're not wasting fort turns by not recruiting anything. We're getting things that, you know, are kind of hard to get, things we wouldn't normally get, but things that are very gold efficient. And that's so that we can save up to build a fort here. This is going to be my first fort. I may build a fort here, and I may build a fort here. Now, there is a thought that you should not build forts for Mekone on top of farmland. And the reason is because your forts cause unrest, and they cause significant unrest. If you patrol it down, you're going to get rid of a lot of your unrest every turn. But you can't get rid of unrest the turn it's created. Just the way the turn order processing works. So you're basically going to be at least like a 10 or 15% gold penalty for forts. Now, this is going to be largely countered by the admin bonus of a fort. Like, this is going to give you 25% more gold. So if you patrol it down and you have a fully upgraded fort, and you're patrolling fully, you probably still come out a little bit ahead in gold. The thing forts give you on farmlands is you have a shit ton of recruitment points. And if you're going to shit out Peltasts, which is something I definitely want to have open as a strategy, then I think that's something you want. But we'll find out. So that's it for this turn. We probably have time for one more turn, so we'll get up to turn 8. Turn 8. A message has arrived from Ulm. Today, the sad news arrived. The great prophet of Ulm died on the battlefield. Though victorious through to his last breath, the world mourns his loss. In various smiths and shaman co-ops, his passing and future are discussed. And yet, his greatest gifts, his writings have survived, and thus spoke the prophet. In what relation does der utopian... okay, I can't speak German well enough. Der utopisch socialism stand to the people of Black Swan as a whole. The utopias do not form a separate party opposed to the other people's parties. They have no interest separate and apart from the people as a whole. They do not set up sectarian principles of their own, by which they shape and mold the people's movement. We're distinguished from other people by this only. In the national struggles of people of different countries, we point out and bring to the front the common of the entire people, independent of all nations. See, but this is the thing. This rhetoric kind of stuff is dangerous because what you're really saying is like a single nation or people rise up together no matter what the country. And that kind of shit's dangerous, man. Like, thinking that we need to liberate the people of the world, that's like, I mean, that can be the mantra for any oppressive government attacking other people. So, anyway, we'll see if Ulm stays true to his high principles in this game, or if he ends up into a war where he's trying to liberate peoples of other countries. Okay, we got some battles. Yeah, so, okay, let's look at this. I need to figure this out better, because on one hand, I don't want... I think these guys need to be like 2 or 3 spaces farther ahead. They fall behind and the formation gets all fucked up. Like, this guy's got a limp. Yeah, pretty ugly. Didn't take too many losses, but that was kind of bad scripting. This is fine, though. That's kind of what you want. Unfortunately, these guys aren't in the same tile. So you got a never healing room, that's okay. Okay, so this is the event that happens in late fall. And the Crypterion has ended. Cryption has ended. And the bloodshed is over. For this year, an exceptional Cryptite was elected and rewarded for their deeds. So what you get from this... And I think this happens in all your forts, but I could be wrong, could just be your cap. You basically get this guy. And he gets an experience star. He's stealthy, he's an assassin, and he can patrol. And patrolling is super valuable in our forts because we get a shit ton of unrest. So this guy's like 15 dudes sitting here patrolling. And you can just script him to retreat. And that way he won't potentially die. If people attack your forts, you potentially can have a couple years worth of assassins in there, which is like 2. Which is not nothing. And they're if you get them items, they could be a decent assassin chassis. I mean, a lot of HP, decent morale, good base stat line. They don't have any armor or anything, so you'd have to think about how you gear them up. But I could definitely see these guys being pretty good assassins if you have items. But just the patrolling makes them worthwhile. They do cost money as upkeep, though. So. Growth, income, okay. Some of our people are promoting, we're going to see this message a lot. Now what do we do? Okay, so now expansion is getting a little tricky. We've got Horse Tribe here, and Heavy Cav and Heavy Infantry. I think this one's going to be a little easier, though we probably could take either. This one will give us... I think this is going to be a mix of heavy infantry and heavy cav that'll get split up. So going in here means we'll fight them in 2 waves. Going in here means we're going to get pelted by arrows, and then when we finally close, it'll be like closing in 1 wave. So this is going to be easier, and I like taking easier first, so we'll do that. Down here, this elephant province looking scarier than ever. We picked up these guys. We're going to go march. This guy's just picking up guys that retreated because I fucked up that script so bad. I don't even remember messing it up, but that's embarrassing. Here, we're going to move up here and take this, hopefully. This actually is a really high income province, so we'll probably be building a fort here. I'm going ahead and recruiting a commander. The other reason for building forts on top of farmland is once the raiding game starts, having people not raid your super high income places is pretty nice. Like, that's the other thing. Like, forts provide a ton of bonuses for whatever province you put them in. And there's a lot of synergy between putting them in farmlands, but this would be another good fort location. We can see this is a death site too. This is a death site, this is a death site. I think I see any more death sites. Okay. It's always trickier to tell what... You can still do it, but it's a little trickier. Like, this is a growth site too. I wonder what gives us growth sites. Actually, I'm going to pause and look it up. Okay, it actually could be from an event too. Oh, it's a fertility festival. I just went and looked that up for nothing. That sucks. I was really hoping it was a... The growth sites are pretty good. There's not many of them, and they all require... They're either like level 0, which means you find them when you go there, or they're level 2, which means you need a level 2 nature mage. So... But for not. It's just a... silly little thing. Okay, this province looks really scary. I'm really glad I didn't try to take it. Caleb may try to take it, but I don't know. Not me. Caleb's looking... I don't know. They look like they've expanded pretty well. I think that's it. We're building our palisades here. This is a little risky, building palisades like out in the open on a border, but I played with Sakane a few times. I doubt he's going to try to rush me. That's not really his style. And we did agree on provinces, and if he does it, it'll kind of forsake him getting this one, and then... I will say I typically win the first wars I'm into. It's been a long time. I can only think of one game where the first war I got in, well, that's not true. I lost in my Hinnom game against Abyssia in my first war, and that was a war I picked. Yeah. But yeah, before that I think I was playing Pangea. But yeah. So I don't know. I don't normally like rushing people, like just face rushing them, but like before expansion's done. But I'm not very worried about it happening to me. So, okay, we're going back to Peltasts. I need another big army to come down here and take this. Now, it's going to take a few turns of recruitment to get something big enough to take these things out. But time to get cracking. And I think that's it for this turn. Let's go ahead and go. It's probably the end of this episode, so I'll see you guys next time.